Some people don't disappear when things feel uncertain. They adapt, they adjust their tones, they shift their energy, and they read the room before they speak. Not because they are dishonest, not because they are uncertain, but because belonging depends heavily on getting it right the first time, on fitting in the first time. This is the chameleon archetype. The chameleon is a child who learned that similarities create safety. So fitting in reduces friction, and creating connections with others keeps relationships intact. Instead of creating a fixed sense of self, instead of anchoring in one's identity, the chameleon becomes flexible. The chameleon becomes observant. The chameleon becomes responsive. You see, the chameleon does not ask, "What do I want?" Instead, the chameleon asks, "What is required of me here?" And based off that requirement, they will morph to fit the standard, and they will keep morphing or changing or transforming every time the standard changes, every time there's a new requirement. The chameleon learned a quiet lesson. They learned belonging requires adjustment. Reason being, the chameleon might have been brought up in a household where emotional responses were unpredictable, or where disagreements created distance, where approval often shifts, where preferences weren't consistently welcomed. So that child over time became skilled at sensing, at noticing mood shifts, at seeing shifts in energies, at realizing what was welcomed and what was not. And instead of pushing back against all of that, they adapted. The chameleon will oftentimes notice too that even as adults, these adaptations do not stop. They become more refined, and they follow them everywhere. They follow them into their friendships, into their romantic relationships, into the workplace, into social spaces, and even into spiritual environments. For the chameleon, this might look like changing opinions to keep the harmony, the emotional harmony, or softening your preference to offer others comfort, or mirroring values in your relationships, or hesitating even before expressing your disagreements, like you're waiting to see if others are going to agree with you, or if that's going to cause you to be kicked out from whatever social setting, if it's going to cause a disruption in the connection, in the relationships that you worked so hard to maintain for such a long time. The chameleon oftentimes feels unsure of how they are supposed to feel about a given situation until they are by themselves and they are able to properly process whatever the situation is. To many people, the chameleon is easygoing, they are flexible, and they are great with people. And honestly, they are great with people. But guess what? A lot of the times, internally, there is a quiet question running beneath all of what is happening on the outside. And for the chameleon, that question is, who am I when no one is watching? You see, constant adaptation has a cost. Not a dramatic one. No, it's never dramatic. It's always subtle. You see, when you adjust as often as the chameleon does. Your inner point of reference weakens, not because it disappears, but because you have never consulted with yourself. Over time, there are disadvantages to this, and the disadvantages are many. Over time, you'll notice that you are indecisive. You'll notice that you struggle to make decisions. You will notice that you often doubt yourself. You notice that you are emotionally exhausted. And then you start to feel a deep sense of disconnection from yourself. If you've identified yourself as a chameleon, I want to let you know that becoming the chameleon was not a flaw. It was an intelligent response. That response helped you to remain included when difference felt risky. It helped you to manage your environment. It kept your relationship stable. It helped you to remain connected. But hear this, those traits protected you back then, but they are no longer serving you. If you've identified yourself as a chameleon, then hear this. Healing does not mean declaring who you are. Healing does not mean becoming rigid. Healing does not mean rejecting connection. No, it's something much quieter. If you're a chameleon, healing for you means noticing internally when adjustment feels effortless, noticing when it feels natural, noticing when you feel energized, and noticing when you feel depleted. These small moments are important for you because they'll help you to build and to develop your self-reference, your self-trust, a sense of identity in who you are, so you can stop morphing to fix or to fit other people's requirements or expectation, because that is very exhausting. If you've identified yourself as a chameleon, hear me clearly when I say to you that you did not lose yourself because you adapted. In fact, you adapted because connections mattered to you so deeply and dearly. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you've identified yourself as a chameleon, then let me hold your hand when I say this to you. Come closer. You are allowed to belong without reshaping who you are. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to slowly discover who you are without pressure. You are allowed to choose you starting today. Give yourself that permission. If you are here with me today, thank you. If this resonates with you, leave a comment. Let's talk about it. If you would like to level up your life, if you would like to learn more about archetypes and patterns, go ahead and click the link in my bio or the description. Grab my ebook. Until next time, walk good.